very good. You carry more muscle for your height than 70% of men in your age group. Okay, TJ, so your body fat percentage is...
You want to tell them where we're going?
We're going to London today.
Can't hear you.
Yes, you can. Don't lie.
Alright peeps, we're going to go see Dave Chappelle. Also on the way there, we're actually going to my body fat tested. In regards to my initial get, I'm going to go 16 to 18%.
Would you be happy with 16%?
I don't care, like the number doesn't matter because it's like, they could tell me I'm 25%, but I'm still going to look the same.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? So it's not about metrics and numbers, it's about how you physically look and how your performance is in the gym. But yeah man, numbers don't matter. But yeah man, let me know in the comments at this point what you guys think I'll probably be, and then we'll find out obviously if you were right. We finally reached London, but we're actually an hour late, purely because my train got cancelled, so it wasn't like it was my fault for once. We're here people! First time actually even looking into body fat percentages.
Yep, okay. The trouble with body fat percentage is people use it as a measure of body fat, and it's not a measure of body fat. You know, it's better for us to compare your actual amount of body fat for how tall you are. If you've got a certain amount of body fat and not much muscle, you'll have a high body fat percentage because a lot of you is fat. As you increase that muscle, more and more of you is muscle, that body fat percentage will shrink even though it's the same amount of body fat.
Yeah.
Okay? So people obsess about body fat percentage, right? And everyone says they want to be 10% body fat, right? I've rarely seen it. So where are you in the fitness journey? Are you kind of going into a cut? Are you bulking?
This is what I more or less look like, say 9 months of the year. So I call it my base physique. So I'm not really lean as what I have been in the past.
Do you think you can stay like this?
Oh yeah, how I look now is how I will just, this is what I look most of the year.
Right.
And then there's times if there's a holiday, I would lean down, normally drop around maybe 7-8 pounds, and I normally look sharper.
Okay.
So I thought it'd be good to do one now, and then when I just decide to get lean again, I'll definitely come back and do another one,
sure.
and actually show, okay, this is my normal physique and this is my lean one, just see how things differ.
Yeah. And once we've got your measurements, you see, when you come back, you'll be able to say, okay, you have this many kilograms of body fat, how much fat did you lose, and how much lean did you gain? So are you working out all the time, resistance work?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
5-6 times a week.
So we'll do the scan, so pick out the two key numbers. Basically your fat for height and lean for height, how muscly you are and how shredded you are. Those are the two.
Well, it's definitely not shredded, I know that. This when I find out I'm shorter than what I thought it was.
Most men are. Most men are about 2 inches shorter. Okay, step away. So what do you think you are?
I thought it was 5'7".
You're exactly 5'7".
Oh, thank God. Since 5'6", I was going to be so sick. I care about that more than the body fat or anything.
Most men are about that much shorter than they think they are.
I feel like a Terminator.
So here, see your higher body fat percentage in the legs than in the upper body, the trunk?
Yeah.
By quite a bit. And down here, so we've got the android region, which is the belly button where men store their fat, and the gynoid hips and thighs where women store their fat. You have a higher fat percentage here than you do here. Now that is great, really, because it's a healthier fat pattern to have. Your fat's not in your upper body or your belly. Okay. And you'll see your abs quicker, which you already can. Your fat distribution, you can't do anything about it. You can't spot lose fat. A higher power decides where the fat goes on and where it comes off. So that's just how you carry your fat. One thing that you can't see, a lot of people come to body scan for, is visceral fat, so that's internal fat around your organs. Yeah. So, people who don't exercise very much, people who've got a big belly, tend to get visceral fat, and that's linked with type 2 diabetes, heart disease, etc. There's ethnic differences, so black people fortunately carry the lowest amount of visceral fat, then white people, then South Asian. Exactly. Right, and then South Asian people. All right, so your visceral fat, we normally expect it to be in line with this. It's lower. Okay, that's because of your ethnicity. Okay, TJ, so your body fat percentage is 18.3.
I'm gonna go 16 to 18%.
Now, as I said a little bit when we started, is we need to get away a little bit from body fat percentage, right? And what we want to get to the bottom of today is kind of exactly how much fat do you have, right? And we measure fat for height.
I was looking at those around the hip.
Right. On the image here, right, orange is fat,
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that you've got a bit of orange. It looks visually like you carry your fat around your hips and your thighs, all right? And a little bit, tiny bit around the love handles, but not much. So let's put it in perspective. So although you're kind of like, everyone's going, oh wow, 18.3%.
Yeah.
So you carry, you're in fact about 5 centimeters shorter than me, and you carry 3.5 kilos more fat. You've got much more muscle, but you carry a bit more fat. So you carry 13.9 kilos of fat. Now the key numbers for us are how much fat you carry in relation to your height and how much muscle you carry in relation to your height. That's what really everyone is interested in, okay? So those two numbers are here and here, right? And they're known as your fat mass index, fat for height, and lean mass index. What we're going to do is plot your numbers here onto our client base here. So this is the data for about 8,000 men. Your body fat percentage is 18.3, so that puts you about here, okay? And your fat for height puts you here, 4.8, puts you just about in the 30th percentile. So you carry, for your height, you carry more fat than 30% of my male clients, but less than 70%. So it's in a very good place, right? But you could go further. Now your muscle for height, lean for height, is 20.3. So 20.3 is very good. You're up in the 70th percentile. You carry more muscle for your height than 70% of men in your age group. Look, you can see he's got the muscles, right? I mean, look, you know, that's not a surprise. You've got a little room to move on the muscle. Remember, genetics will, you know, dictate how far up here you can get. You've been training for 9 years, so you're really going to edge very, very slowly up here, okay? Which is why, and you say, if you want to look bigger, you lose fat. It's much easier and quicker to lose body fat. Okay, so losing 3.5 kilos from here is going to be much easier than putting on 3 kilos of muscle down there. All right, this is going to be weeks, this could be years. So this table up here is about body fat. Okay, we want all your markers to be down here. With lean mass and muscle distribution, we want to be up here. Okay, so your report is very good, but you definitely have capacity to lose a bit of body fat. Yeah, what I'll do in a minute is I'll put that number into our calculator, and I'll tell you how many kilos of fat you need to lose to get there. Right, to get what I call shredded. Right, so if you look at that.
And is this truly shredded or like lean? Kind of like a somewhat definition. Like shredded, I'd say like, you know, people on stage, or like lean.
Lean, very, very lean. Let's look at your muscle distribution. All right. So if we look at the table, the report here, TJ, you can see this is your left to right arm, left to right leg. So you're pretty even. You're very even left to right. This is just grams. Okay. So you're 200 grams difference in lean from one side to the other in the arms. Your legs is bang on. You're like perfectly symmetric in the legs to the gram.
That's funny because I always feel like, I don't know if it's proposition, but I always thought that my left hamstring, I see more lines in this one than this one, so I always assumed that maybe my left leg had more muscle or less fat or something.
Not really. No, look at that. So when it comes to your muscle distribution, you're very even between the arms and the legs. Okay, you have a shorter trunk, so that's why you're down here a little bit. Now that's an ethnic difference because black people have a shorter trunk. Okay, so it's a mainly white audience, right? Mainly white population. Your trunk, by the way, is from the groin to the neck. And there are big muscle groups in there. So you've got your chest, right? But lats are big muscles as well that people neglect. And also
my main focus now in the gym actually, my lower back, I feel like I need that kind of thickness in it. So that's somewhere hopefully if I build there, that'll help the trunk a tiny bit.
Yeah, so the trunk is all of those muscles and really big muscle groups. Your abdominals are there as well. It's not a huge muscle group by way of mass, but it is there. Let's plot your body fat percentage by the way. So you're 18.3. So this is your body fat percentage, right? Puts you in about the 25th percentile. And finally, your bone density, which is just out of interest. You have great bone density, so that's how likely you are to break a bone, and that's likely to have come from all your weight training. Okay.
So in regards to the muscle building one you mentioned about genetics, so which races tend to build muscle mass the best? Because I get asked this all the time, like, it's because you're black, you can build muscle. Like, how different is it, like, between, let's say, a white and a black person or an Asian person? Is it like a really big difference? Or would it go down then into also like within blackness, like African, Caribbean, or?
It might, just anecdotally, I mean, largely we see a predominantly white customer base. But I would say kind of similar. So there may be research that says that's different. But I can't put my finger on it. So there's so much at play. So it's variables like your sex, your testosterone levels, your genetics, and really how hard you train in the gym. And are you taking any gear?
That's more or less what I've been saying to people as well, especially because even within, for example, if you're a particular race or whatever, environmental factors such as you said, what you actually put in your body. So you could be whichever race that may build a little bit more muscle, but if you eat poorly and poor decisions, you may have access to the best food.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, you're not gonna look shredded just because.
I'm just going to say to you, if you want to put on muscle, work hard. That's the biggest reason people don't put on muscle. So, any surprises or?
My God thought was 16.
Okay.
Like 18. I know you said it's not obviously of the factors that affect it, but I did think it was probably 16 at the highest.
Okay.
18. Because now I know if when I tell people that, they can be like, oh my God, if you're 18, I've got. And obviously then you got to go into factors and muscle.
That's what everyone does. Yeah. I mean, I might put you more like 16 and a bit to look at you, but that's what it is.
When I'm probably about 8 pounds lighter than this, I look noticeably sharper. Like people think I'm silly numbers then. So it'd be interesting to know what that number is compared to.
Yeah, so 8 pounds is 3 to 4 kilos, right?
Oh.
Yeah. If it's all fat, if you lose 8, 9 pounds, and it's all fat, then you're going to be that much. That's going to be that much less fat. We'll see how much it is on a calculator.
We'll say, because I've been training now for like 9 years. On average, how much? Say if you train optimally, how much muscle do you think is possible to actually add to the physique? Because at this point, I've almost got to that point. I'm like, if I want to look bigger, I just drop body fat, to be honest, just because I look leaner and look sharper.
Yeah.
But I still obviously would like the aim of building as much as possible, but it's what typically have you seen people aim to pack on?
Right, so as you train more and more, your capacity to put on more muscle becomes less. So you might only put on, I don't know, a kilo in a year. Right? We've had bodybuilders in who might put on less than a kilo. They've been doing it for 12 years.
Because that's roughly around what I was thinking as well.
So much of it, as I said earlier, is based on your program. So fat loss is about your calories, muscle gain is about your program. So people go to the gym and they just waste their time, right? Their program is all over the place. They're not doing enough sets, they're not doing enough reps, they're not working out intensely enough, they're not upping the weight over time, they're never lifting their heaviest weight. So I don't know what happens in the gym, what they do in the gym. From my experience, most people are on their phone half the time. But if they do an optimized program, which means working out hard, then that's the best way to get muscle.
Just wanted to do a quick little review of the result. Remember, just because I'm 18% body fat doesn't mean that now you have to apply that to yourself, because we're two different people, different amounts of muscle mass to fat ratio and all that stuff, as Philip kind of described in the video. But anyways, I'll leave you guys carry on with the vlog, and I'm gonna get back to do my cardio. Alright peeps, so right now, we've already done the body scans. Right now we're going to carry on, get ready to go to the Airbnb, but we need some food, because not every single day we're going to eat out, obviously. Moderation, so at least we've got enough stuff that we can make breakfast for ourselves, maybe lunch, then eat out at dinner if you feel like it. But yeah man, so when you go places, you don't have to pick out every single day, it's about balance. And if you know how to cook, you know how to cook.
You know how to cook, you know how to cook.
Yeah, basically, too many people just, when anytime they go anywhere, they just go order food or Uber Eats. The benefit of us getting Airbnb is that you have the facilities so you can cook whatever you want and order things when you feel like it. Whereas if you go to a hotel and you've got nothing, you have to almost order food every single night, innit? So spend a little bit extra, treat your body your best.
Make $1 million cash for you flatline. Make a master plan, watch it backfire.